going to see if such would work out.
Good morning, Amechi. Good morning once again, dear listener. Briefly on the issue of live streaming of the tribunal. Well, some persons are surprised that the Labour Party didn't join the PDP in this regard.
Are you certain? I'm also hearing that they must file I don't know, but let's see.
Application. Yeah, it's only the PDP that has done that, and the tribunal will be hearing that of the PDP today. The reason why, one of the reasons why the Alliance
Action Alliance
petition was thrown away was because of the factionalization of the party. You recall?
But they are lawyer
They withdrew.
an application
if they had not been
withdrawn.
withdrawn, they would have gone ahead.
So we look forward to see what the PDP own will look like today and the Labour Party tomorrow. Amechi, the interesting part...
Tomorrow, the court is not sitting today.
He's sitting today,
He's sitting
but
today,
also
okay.
sit tomorrow.
But
Perhaps the person in charge of the appeal court selected experienced persons, those that are heading its various divisions. The rumor was that the president of the Court of Appeal was going to be on that panel. She wasn't, but she selected strong persons, and perhaps the reason behind that is that you need experienced justices that cannot be intimidated, that will be courageous enough to do the job. Because those that will fight, that will appear before them are the best of the country, the biggest, the most senior of the senior advocates of Nigeria. So you don't send in justices that may be intimidated. So they selected very experienced one. And the person at the head of that 5-member justices is saying, we are looking at justice and not technicalities.
yeah, exactly. And that is it. And it's a warning ahead of time so that the senior lawyers, as we have called them, don't come around with technicalities and delay the process. And at the end of the day, we'll be rushing. Like someone said, a justice rush is justice that can crash. Amechi, on the leadership of the National Assembly, it's very interesting. Some persons are surprised, are wondering why the Northeast is left out of the, in quote, Tinubu's choice of leaders.
The Northeast has a vice president.
The North Central, I mean to say. The North Central is left out after giving the APC 4 states during the last
The APC
election.
won in the North Central.
4 states.
Overall.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. APC won 4 states, and they are not being considered in the North Central to be given one of the leadership positions.
Maybe they may be
But
compensated.
you know, and
There
then
are other positions. The party.
There are talks about
you know,
secretary to
there is also,
government of the federation.
yeah. Then the Northeast, even though they have a vice presidential candidate, then there is, if the protest is on, Dogowa and Wase. Wase is from North Central, and Dogowa is from
Gambi
Northwest.
is from the North
Yeah,
Central.
and they are rejecting or contesting the choice of the president. What Amechi, people are praying that the next 10th National Assembly is not viewed or perceived or seen as a rubber stamp legislature. And if you are having the
like that of
president-elect's
the
choice,
National Assembly.
if you are having the president-elect's choice being debated upon or being approved or being passed, it clearly shows, as Teve will say, that they want to put themselves as rubber stamp. Amechi, we are the elementary studies of government and law of government. The beginning of study of government tells you you have 3 arms of government, and you have the legislature, you have the executive and the judiciary, and these are established for checks and balances. And where is the checks if the executive is determining the leadership of the house? We are of the legislature. We are told over time that right from the developed democracies is best out of equal, that is the leader, isn't it? Yeah, you have legislators.
Best among equals.
Best among equals, yes. Best among equals. So
Or first among equals.
best among equals. First is because of the ranking issue, but best among equals. If they have come together, some of us still think that this will be changed. This choice of the president will be changed because there is contest already. That's why democracy is interesting. You must contest every decision to arrive at the best. So we look forward to see whether the choice of Gbajabiamila and Lawan in 2015 will be turned this time around, because we are understanding that the choice of the president-elect is Akpabio. His choice for the Northwest to produce the deputy speaker is there. His choice for the Northeast, what do you call it?
Northwest. Yes,
Northwest produce speaker, and Southeast produce deputy speaker. So we look forward to see how it goes on. The politics is going on. We have heard that the big Kalu, if you don't know what I mean by the big Kalu,
Who told you it's the big Kalu?
Well,
Are you suggesting that Benjamin is the small Kalu?
Benjamin, the deputy
He's
speaker,
a man
leadership candidate.
with his full rights.
Yeah, it's the full right. Yes, actually. So, but we are hearing information, news we are gathering that the Orjies Okalu has written to over 180 senators, and he has written to the party about his ambition. He has told us, and you listen to him, saying that it's his turn. He's speaking from Emiloko.
Yes.
So we don't know. We leave it to them. Let them choose the best among them.
Well,
to be their leader.
let's go down memory lane. When democracy, Fourth Republic was bettered in 1999, against the wishes of majority of the members of the National Assembly, executive swayed the outcome of the election of their principal officers. Evans Eweremo. Kadibo was clearly the popular candidate, but Obasanjo moved his henchmen in, and they were able to clip their wings. But it didn't take time for the National Assembly members, especially the senators, to understand that they made a mistake. They needed someone who is their choice and their own. Because as it were, I always say it, that the legislature and the executive are role conflict. They are role conflict situations. They are put in place in such a way that there will be conflict, but healthy conflict. You're not always to agree. You should be work in harmony.
To agree.
Yes, you should work in harmony by checking each other.
Exactly.
Where you have in parliament a legislature that cannot check the executive, then that legislature has lost its essence and lost its soul, and the people will be the worse off for it. It's just like you have a press that has left criticisms and begin to do public relations for the government. That press, that media has lost its essence and soul, and the people will be worse off, because as it appears, if your rights are violated mostly by the executive, there are avenues in the legislature you can run to say, help me. Same with the media. So these are structured to conflict while there's harmony. So it got up to 2015 when the likes of Saraki saw that the party APC was moving towards a direction that was not popular with the rest. They plotted and countered and succeeded. PDP produced the Deputy Senate President. So what may happen this time around, of course, we'll go into history. Some of them that may want to oppose the party will say this is what happened in the past. Now, Tevye, the challenges and the reality as it were. The party APC has made pronouncement. It's left for every other person to accept or reject and say, no, we'll do it. Mahi, for instance, the governor of Ebonyi, who's coming to the Senate, has said, as the Lord pleases, I will go with the party. And 9 other senators in the Southeast have said, no, we should give it to us. In the House of Representatives, the other contestants, Betara, Linden, they have said no.
You remember
accept that. It's now left for the party. Yes, it's now left for the party to either hold its rank together or give the other parties an opportunity to exploit a division. While the APC is also trying to exploit division within the other parties, like the issue of Wike. You know, Wike and his men will definitely stay with the party.
So in power.
This is where politics, high-level politics, will begin to play out.
Indeed, we're looking at a very interesting scenario. The truth also is this is not the first time a party, like you observed over since even the Second Republic, and all of this is not the first time. The party always has a role to play. But what the party does in this matter, in this particular instance, can be only seen as advisory. Where the party has...
If the party zones and say, go and contest.
So
but this time around, the party has micro-zone.
Yes, a micro-zone.
To
individuals. So, and the reason is because they don't have the overwhelming majority in both the Senate and the House of Reps, to take that risk. So they are trying to be as careful, as possible. Recall that in 2011 or thereabout years, PDP also nominated Mulikat Akande. But
it couldn't fly.
It couldn't fly. So it's not the first time the party is doing this.
Even when Patricia came, they had to manufacture some excuses to edge her out against the wishes of the party.
And eventually they apologized to her, for laying false allegations. So, but one thing we need to understand in this dynamics that is going on right now is the tendencies in the APC. The president the president-elect is from ACN. The vice president-elect is from ANPP. The nominated or consensus Senate president is from the new PDP. The deputy speaker, and all of that are from either ANPP or new PDP. So, but the CPC of Buhari, that was a component of the APC, has no person, and that person
in the code.
Yeah, and that's the person they are trying to bring in for the CPC is the Tajuddin, who won elections for Jara constituency under CPC.
Tajuddin.
Yes,
the speaker.
Tajuddin Abbas. They won
the party.
They were nominated. So that's the dynamics.
They are trying to assuage the
CPC in the calculation, but whether that they will pay a price for it in the House of Reps, in the Senate. I mean, the truth is they are matured persons. APC has 59 members. The other opposition parties have 50. So they between now and June 11 or thereabout, they will definitely find a way around it. But for the House of Reps, where the opposition have the majority, and they are working, they were waiting. If you observe, they were waiting for the APC to come out with their zoning, and overnight you needed to have spoken with a number of them. They will tell you that look, this is not acceptable, and they will move in.
Even in the Senate, Bulu, if those that are not in sync with the party can get a sizable number, it's not ruled out.
The opposition can throw the opposition can throw a surprise because there are 50 of them against 59, isn't it? So they can. You need 2/3 to be a Senate president.
No, simple majority.
Is removal. Is impeachment. Is removal.
Yes.
Okay,
generally, this brings about the question that we have said severally: the supremacy of the party. How supreme are political parties in Nigeria? How supreme are political parties in Nigeria? So, if political parties are they supreme pre-election, and what's the opposite of supreme now? They are supreme pre-election, and after, when these candidates have won election, the party is no longer that strong. Because for a party to have a position and is being contested.
In this matter, the position is very clear. Yes. There is a members of the House of Reps, members of the Senate that will elect a speaker of the
among themselves.
So the party can only advise. The only role the party can do is for majority leader, minority. In this case, the party will write. So in that way, even in the House of Reps, remember what happened? When the party wrote,
the APC ignored National Assembly ignored it.
I want for you bringing in the CPC issue. You trying to tell us something that there is a finger there. The outgoing president has a hand.
No, he's telling you about
there have been arguments in the past that the president favors persons that came with him from the core opposition political parties that formed the.
In other words, let me break it down as Amaka get closer to the mic. The president's men, this current administration that is outgoing, if you take a look, the president's men, that's the CPC people, were in some strong positions.
Strategic position.
CPC and ANPP people.
Yes, more of CPC. Now, as a new administration is coming, and from what I'm getting, I can tell you, we look at the bridge under the bridge.
The water that passes under the bridge.
We see the water and we put our binoculars and we see semblance of. They say water has no color, but we can tell it has color. If you come with a third eye, and we have the third eye, I can tell you that there is a brewing disquiet. It's not yet out. You may not see it. What happens to the president's men? And before the election, we were told by strong APC members that these president's men were against Tinubu, that they were working, perhaps some trying to gather support for Atiku Abubakar and others. And the other persons, especially the governors, rallied around Tinubu and pushed him through. So that thing within the APC is still there. And these are men who have resources. They've been in commanding heights. So resources may not be in short supply, but when the new power, the ACN gets in, already they will have access to those resources. And no, depending on how they manage the power balance and relationship, if they don't manage it well, it may boomerang. If they manage it well,
and that is actually what worked against Senator Orji Uzor Kalu in this contest. The president's men were strongly behind him.
Yes.
Don't forget,
the president's men were for Ahmed Lawan as the presidential candidate,
and he was the campaign manager of Ahmed Lawan. So the Tinubu camp is looking at him as belonging to that.
I don't like when we say worked against him. He's still in the contest, for heaven's sake. He's still there. Nothing has worked against him.
No, unsuccessfully.
But he's still in the contest.
Remember
Abulu, you need to understand when they say the leaders of the party have
or the owners
have decided on something. You need to understand. Only those who understand would, like the Ebonyi man. You know that if you don't step down, you are as much as wasting your time.
No, is it absolute? But we have listed options in the past where they succeeded. So you can make a go at it.
Sure, you can in some instances, but you also need to take a very close look. And they done it, which is why I said in the House of Reps, the fact that the opposition have more members is a different dynamics from what happens in the Senate.
Like I was trying to say earlier, how things change so fast in politics. There's no permanent interest, but no permanent friend, but permanent interest.